Welcome to Bleav In 76ers with your hosts, former 76ers point guard Eric Snow and two Sixers fanatics in Marcus and Teja Dash. Bleav In 76ers is presented by BetOnline.AG.
BetOnline is your number one source for all your sports betting needs. Get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, and more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use promo code BLEAV for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, where the game starts. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Bleav In 76ers podcast. I'm Marcus Dash here with legendary 76ers point guard Eric Snow and my brother, Teja Dash. Guys, so last week, before we came into this easy stretch of games, we talked about would 6-0 be the ideal spot, and if anything less than that would be bad. I think we said 5-1 would be okay with anything less than 5-1 would be, that's where we're like, okay, that's 4-2 would have been good, but you know what? Last 7 games, 6-1, but these last 6 games, 5-1. Are you guys happy with the 6-game stretch?
I'm fine with the 5-1. I mean, I would love to go 6-0. Disappointed in how it went, and losing that game, especially at home. I mean, I just don't think we should be losing home games like that. And you know, this game kind of feels like a game that could come back and haunt you late in the season. I hope not, but it feels that way for me right now.
Teja, happy with the 5-1?
No, I wanted to go 6-0, but at least we lost to the best of those teams. So that's a plus side.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying, but the best without their best players. That's like us not having Maxey, and basically that's what it's like.
Yeah, but I think their winning percentage is actually higher without Bleav, but
yeah.
They're not better on paper, but they're playing better. I guess Kobe White's role is a lot more well-defined when Bleav's not out there. I mean, he's been averaging, I think, like 20 plus with Bleav.
That seems like more like coaching than playing to me. But anyway, I'm just saying.
You mean think it's easier to coach without Bleav there?
No, I'm just saying that seems like more of a coaching issue than a playing issue. If you say they're playing well or they're doing things without Bleav, like, I mean, last time they went to the playoffs and did all that stuff, he was on that team. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, I'm not saying they're better without him. I'm saying they're playing currently better without him. Maybe that was going to happen anyway, even if he was there. Maybe it was just a up and down wave for him. Who knows? Well, I guess we will know soon when he comes back.
Yeah. So kind of sticking with the topic of the last 6-game stretch. So on the 6-game road trip against inferior opponents, we want to go undefeated. We went 5-1, which is fine. We lost the Bulls by 4 in a game where Embiid and Maxey combined for 69 of our 104 points. But our third leading scorer is where the kind of problem exists here. Had 8 points. Paul Reed was our third leading scorer with 8 points. It was about this time a report surfaced that the Sixers are more likely to target a high-end two-way player towards the trade deadline rather than an offensive first player like Zach LaVine. This is per Sam Amick. After last night, I mean, do you feel that's the right move to go for a two-way player, Eric, Teja? Or do you think we do need to get an offensive first guy? Or are you not going to raise an alarm after one game like this last night?
Who's the two-way player that we're supposed to be going after? I mean, that's what it kind of – we're throwing straws on, like we just throw what a type of player out without saying who that type of player is. So it's kind of hard to be like, say yes or no on a deal when we have no idea what type of player that is. So if you obviously for Teja, if you said Mikal Bridges, then he like great. But if you threw another guy, you may be like, I don't know. Maybe we need a guy like Bleav more. So it's kind of hard without names to say if that would be better for us or not. Now, I don't particularly think the way we played yesterday, I'm not into right now. It's a situation where you're saying we what we don't have. I just think I thought we had enough to win that game. It was more of what we were doing more so than what we don't have.
Yeah.
How about Maxey and Embiid shooting 51 of our 88 shots? I thought that was
that's come on, man. You can't take all the shots and then complain about people not shooting, not scoring. Like, come on, man. Stop it. Like, if you're gonna take all the shots, then make all the shots in the end of the game when it's time to win.
Yeah. Our other 3 starters combined for 12 shots in the game.
Come on. You taking all the shots and take all the shots and win the game.
12 shots and 12 points they had. Our 3 other starters. And Maxey had 1 less 3 taken than the other starters had shots total. I mean, 5 for 11. I can't argue with the percentages. It's a good percentage, sure.
So should I be an a-hole and say, well, where's the great offense that they're so much better than what Doc did? Because if Doc did this, we know what you all would be saying.
I think we'd still be
Teja,
piling
you
on
and your
Aaron.
people, Marcus, you and your people. We know what you guys would be saying.
I was a Doc fan, Eric. I like Doc.
You and your people. I'm not defending Doc. I'm just saying, like, this is just shows like we've been talking about how even the players have said it. Even the players have said how free flowing and how great the offense was. And I'm saying all I'm seeing is 2-man game pick and roll and with Maxey and Joel.
Dribble handoffs, yeah.
That's all I'm saying. I didn't see it as much at the beginning of the year, but these last 10 games or so, that's all we've seen. And teams are figuring it out. So if they don't shoot well, like Joel scored well, Maxey didn't shoot well, and he shot a lot of tough shots. Joel didn't get to the free throw line. They defended him well. So he didn't slow the game down. Yeah. And then he punished us on the other end, primarily with those 2 guys.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Joel had one of the best statistical games you could see, but in my eyes, didn't really play well. So at the end of the game, when I know he missed time, I was like, because he called to come out in that 4th quarter. He called to come out when they took him out. So I thought he was injured or something. When Maxey had that turnover and he kind of twisted, and then he pointed right to the bench and went out. He never even came back on the court. It wasn't like a guy was at the scores table waiting for him. If you go back and look at that play, they threw that turnover. He went over there and went to the sideline, pointed to the bench, and walked to the bench and went out, and they never came back for a while. Even when they were down, like it took a minute for him to come back. So, and then when he came back in, to me, it just wasn't the same. I mean, he couldn't get out on pick and rolls. He couldn't get out on shooters. Guys were getting rebounds over top of him. Offensive rebounds, like, went in to finish, didn't really finish at the rim. He looked hesitant and timid a little bit. So that's why I'm like, well, maybe that was it. Because if it wasn't it, then it was just he didn't perform in the end. And you can give him passes because he's done so much. But we so quick to jump on the guys that didn't score when it was winning time, then the guys that's doing all the scoring got to win the game too and do that part.
He was -5 yesterday, which is his 3rd worst mark of the season. But if you look at...
That's what I'm saying. Like, for a guy that has this, from the stats, he looked great. But, like, watching, it didn't look like that. It didn't look dominant as the numbers said, like the numbers said it did.
So we're 2 and 4 when he has a minus on the court, which I would expect, really. I mean, it's not too big of a shock, but it's just interesting to see it out there like that. I'm not going to be too hard on him or them because he's on just an unbelievable streak. And our offense has been averaging like 130 a game for the past like week. So I can't be too upset, but more of if this keeps happening, something's got to. I mean, we got to figure something out because
I'm not like upset or like pushing the panic, but all I'm saying is the things that we've been talking about they were doing so great. It's almost like it could be sugarcoated or hidden that you thinking it's better, things are better than it actually is. It's like it's like winning hides some stuff. And that's why I've also said our schedule has come into play. Like we haven't really played a lot of really good teams.
Yeah. We haven't had a tough
these
stretch.
Games aren't important. Huh?
We haven't had a tough stretch at all yet.
Yes, that's so a lot of things can be hidden in the winning. You could be playing a certain way and people taking you winning as you're playing really good.
It's good to kill teams you're supposed to kill. I do like that. Like we're not squeaking by bad teams. It's great. You're beating teams by 53 points. I love seeing that. Not the most entertaining to watch when you're absolutely.
We won 4 games against the two teams with the worst record.
Yeah. And I'm glad we demolished them. We did what you're supposed to do, right?
Yes.
And I'm also glad we played a Chicago before we jumped that to a Minnesota, because we went from Charlotte to Minnesota. Minnesota might have blown us out. So at least we're kind of like coming back up in the level of competition, and then we had to play, the top team in the West. But I do. Obviously, I would judge us more based on how we do against playoff-like opponents. And going back to the two-way, one-way thing, games like this don't really change my opinion. I would rather go, I guess, for a two-way, but you better make sure that two-way player, that offensive way, is still in the 15 to 20-point range. I guess he's got to be aggressive, because if he's not aggressive, then he's going to be like with the other guys taking 3 shots a game, while Maxey and Embiid take 670. So, whoever that is, you got to have like a killer mindset. Because I would assume Harris would be in a deal like that. If he's not, let's say they can get a good two-way player. Let's just say, for instance, let's say we find a way to get Anunoby without giving up a major chip as far as like on the court. Let's say they keep Harris somehow. We get rid of like Marcus Morris and like Furk and a bunch of like first rounders without giving up. How is Anunoby going to how's he going to average 15 points anyway? If you still have Harris and Oubre. Oubre's an aggressive shooter. He doesn't care. He'll jack him up. So those shots got to come from somewhere. I don't know. That's going to be interesting to see how they unfold this.
Yeah. Speaking of Oubre, second loss in the Oubre 76ers era, and it snaps the 13-game winning streak we had with Oubre on the court.
Yeah.
So kind of a tough one in the Oubre era. Yeah. So diving more into possible trades, there have been reports that a trade is more likely closer to the deadline. So my question to you guys is, what are the pros and cons to getting a deal done later as opposed to earlier? I mean, obviously, the main one would be probably more people are going to be up for trade at the time of the deadline rather than right now, because everyone thinks they have a shot still.
Go ahead.
We got. I'd say the main pros of doing it sooner would be a player can get more acclimated to the team. The team can get more used to him being a part of the lineup and just figuring out the best lineups with him on the court, off the court, rotations. The more time, the better before playoffs start, right? I'd say the more pros to doing it later, as close to the deadline, like you said, would be a player that is available a week before the deadline, might not be available at the present moment. Maybe we're waiting for a disgruntled guy to say, I want out, or maybe contract negotiations for a player to say, hey, I'm not going to resign here next year. you may as well just start to trade me. That kind of thing. Or just players or teams just go off the rails and just fire sale all their players. If it comes down to, I guess it might come down to, would you rather have a slightly better player later or a slightly weaker player like now to get more acclimated? I would rather wait personally, because you're not just doing it for this year, you're doing it for Embiid's window and beyond, or this year beyond for Embiid's window.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, those are some obvious ones there as far as, like, having more acclimation and guys who may not be available now will be available around the time of the deadline.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it's – and
Toronto's a good example of that.
They think they have a shot right now.
Yeah, give them another month or two of just like win 2, lose 2, win 2, lose 2, and just like kind of like not going anywhere. Maybe, maybe they're more willing to talk about it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Some other ones coming to mind. Who are they waiting for? I just don't know.
Yeah, I mean, what teams are on the cusp right now?
I mean, you could say if Cleveland goes from 15-12 to a lot worse than this with the injuries they have, and Mitchell apparently is not going to resign there, that would be a team.
Yeah, but you're also
it doesn't really fall into the two-way player thing, right? Maybe the Nets, if they're considering not as high end of a guy as you think, maybe they're going for like the Dorian Finney-Smith type.
Yeah,
that's a guy who they might be like, all right, you could have him. Pelicans are playing good ball, or also I'd say they'd be a team doing that.
As far as getting
Utah's another team like that with Markkanen. If they're just like, screw it, like whoever,
Yeah.
Do the Warriors ever say that?
With a Wiggins type?
I mean, yeah, everyone but Steph.
Yeah.
I don't know. Thing with the Warriors is Warriors can get into the playoffs as the bottom seed and win it all if they get hot.
Yeah.
And if things are clicking. So as long as they're in just a playoff conversation, I don't think they're ever just going to sell it.
I mean, flipping like a Tobias for Wiggins, I mean, just that went. It's not a rebuild for them. That's literally just trying a different piece there. And Tobias still gives them a chance to compete this year. And then you also, flipping a guy who's not playing well this year.
Yeah.
And that is a two-way guy.
Yes, that's true.
There you go. So, Eric, what are your thoughts on the question here, the pros and cons of doing a deal now versus waiting?
I mean, I don't really see a wrong answer either way. I mean, to be honest with you, I think it kind of depends on what you truly feel your team can do going forward. If you truly feel this team can win a championship, then you would wait. But if you're questioning that, then you can make a move now. But I think it ultimately comes down to, do you think this team as is can make a run? And that's a question we don't know. I mean, this team has proven they can win games, but to make a run and win beating teams 4 times twice. I mean, 4 times straight. I don't know. Well, we don't know. I mean, I would like to think we can. You have Joel, so you have that guy, and sort of the Denver mold, and they did it with basically 7 guys. So if you feel you can do it, I don't see the need to. I wouldn't necessarily say rush into a decision, but you have to be confident that this is going to make you better. And if that's the case, I feel you make the move whenever you do it. You don't have to wait till things aren't going well in order to make that move.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say wait, especially if you think you get a better player later on.
Yeah.
A better player for what we need. And it gives us more time to kind of evaluate what we need. That's another plus too. Like we can keep narrowing it down. Like, okay, well, we thought we needed a great because if we made this deal a month or two ago or a month ago, we probably should have gone for the best scorer possible. But like Maury said, because of the way Maxi's just ascended and like taken off as just a legit scorer, we don't really need to go for a guy who can average 25. We can go for a guy who averages like 18, but who also plays really good defense. I don't know where those guys are if they're available yet, but you know.
Yeah.
And even when you talk about like, if you wait 2 weeks, I mean, what Morris has done for us as far as actually getting production and actually playing. Like 3 weeks ago, he wasn't even playing. We'd say, "Oh, package Morris out here." But now, the way Morris has been playing, like, "Oh, okay, maybe he is part of that rotation that we have." You know, so like we're still figuring out things. I mean, his team's still fresh. I mean, it's only about like a month since that Harden trade. But if we know anything about Morey, we're gonna wait. He's gonna take this thing to the 25th hour to get a trade done. That's our sample size of Morey so far. All right, so we're gonna go to our final topic here. We got a game, so we have one game till we meet again on Friday, and that game is against the Timberwolves, two of the best teams in the league right now. And two of the teams that they're actually getting a lot of pub on the morning shows and stuff. I think Stephen A. Smith and Shannon Sharp said that Timberwolves and the Sixers are the dark horses to win it all this year, which I thought was interesting. But we are a 4-point favorite at home. It's the second time we dark horses as far as outside of the dark horses to win it. Yeah, outside of the Nuggets. Nuggets, Celtics, and Bucks were the three teams they named ahead of us too. But they said we're not that. Both teams are not that far away from the Celtics and Bucks.
I just don't understand how you call a team with an MVP and finished top 3 a year ago, and they're basically been the top team all year, a dark horse. That word just kind of like I don't understand that, like a dark horse. Well, okay, go ahead and finish.
Maybe like calling Duke a Cinderella team in the tournament.
Yeah, I mean, like Minnesota is, but I would say they're a dark horse, and they haven't really finished the way they are. But you can't sit up here and say in the last couple of years we're Minnesota. Like I just don't. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I think so. The point Stephen A. was saying, it's kind of a shock because a lot of people didn't expect this growth from Maxey. And I guess everyone thinks it was just an open and shut case of Boston and Milwaukee this year, but Sixers are kind of throwing a wrench in that. That was where he was going with that.
As much as I like the Nuggets, if they have any kind of injury problems that continue, then like that's not gonna happen. Like we've seen how they do in the playoffs when they have injury problems, and that doesn't happen for them. So Murray's got to get right before the playoffs start.
But I think in general you could say about a lot of teams. You say about Milwaukee like last year without Giannis, that didn't go well for them. Take Embiid out of the equation for us. We're not even talking about. We're not talking getting out of the first round without Embiid.
Yeah, no, but hypothetical. It's not hypothetical because Murray is like hurt and he's battling injuries. Yeah. Last year they were pretty much healthy. Like I think most, if not all, the whole year.
Yeah,
they weren't really battling any of that.
Yeah. So this potentially could be, a preview of maybe a finals in June. But so we're a 4-point favorite at home. Last time we saw them, we got waxed, but we didn't play. We didn't have Embiid in that game. It was the night before Thanksgiving. We lost 112-99. Sixers made a big comeback in the fourth quarter of that game. But yeah, we got dominated in that one pretty good. But who do you guys have in this one? Sixers 4-point favorite at home.
I believe we'll win it, especially after the way we played against the Bulls. I think we'll come out and take care of business this time.
Well, we talked about good test. This is a good test, right? We'll get a good view of how good we are against top level talent. They're tied for the best record in the league. They won 9 of their last 10, 3-game win streak. I think they have the 3rd highest point differential in the league. We're number 1 in that regard. We're actually, have you guys seen that point differential stat that we're next to like the 96 Bulls in point differential of like all time?
Wow.
As far as point
differentials.
Yeah, as far as point differentials, we're like top 3 teams of all time in history right now. Above the best Warrior team. It's like next to the Bulls team.
That'll happen when we've played the Pistons in Washington 6 times.
Good time for that stat.
Yeah.
But I think we do win this. I think it'll be a tough game. I think I like that we're 4-point favorites at home. I feel like a lot of people are going to jump on Minnesota by game time. I mean, that's if you're not a Sixer fan for the most part, that sounds like a good bet. Like +4 with one of the hottest teams in the league right now. Even though we're pretty hot too, but yeah, I think we do win. But it'll be very exciting. I mean, and Maxey, 2 of the better scorers in the league. You got 3 really good bigs to watch. So yeah, I'm excited to watch it.
I probably should have said this before, but I'm looking at the injury report. Batum is out tomorrow. Marcus Morris and Robert Covington are game time decisions. So that means Oubre back in the starting lineup again. So we get starting Oobs. So I don't know if that changes anything.
I'm still going with mine.
Okay.
I still have to go with it.
Yeah, not really. I mean, Batum has been a good defender, but I mean, who's he guarding? McDaniels in that lineup. So I mean, it's not like he's gonna, I was gonna make or break anything for this game.
Yeah, I thought McDaniels had a pretty good game last time we played them. No, he actually didn't play that's how we played. Oh, never mind. McDaniels didn't play last time we played. But all right, guys. Well, that does it for us. We'll see you guys Friday as we preview Raptors Friday night game against the Raptors, and of course the long-awaited Christmas Day game. But that's at 8 p.m. Game on Monday night. So we'll preview all those games for you guys Friday. Everyone, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. We'll see you guys next time.
All right. Take
it easy,
guys.